let's look at this fight here. You have all the layers that you need to win this fight. You have all the ultimates that you need to win this fight. The problem is that the angles that you're holding can be cut off so incredibly easy by a sim wall because we have Bat Freya here, Tracer, whatever. Okay, so the Noon is well utilized to disengage and force a split. The problem here is that Fixa is priority and Icenom's priority here needs to be using a Graviton Surge and Rally to hold space to not, instead of pushing space. So right now, this here sim wall cuts off the entire angle. So you have two options here. You lose this fight, or you use your ultimates to catch the engage and buy time. Your advantage, Zarya versus Ram, Brigitte versus Lucio, is creating and buying space. It's not fighting in their face. The problem here is this. This is foolishness. Fixa is a complete Neanderthal for this, and it seems to have had a really bad series as a whole. You don't pop, rally, and bash into a charged Symmetra, a Ram, especially when they have a sim wall cutting off your angle and a beat. This is plat stuff. This is plat. I'm not normally harsh here, but this is really stupid. In addition to that, Icenom disengaged the push. That's great. But the grav needs to come out as soon as we burn. You know, I'll cut. Yeah, it's just panic, right? Like, here's the thing, okay? If you're playing, this is really high level stuff here, so I'm gonna be a little bit prickier on Icenom, okay? The reason that Icenom does not grab this immediately is because of teleporter, which is one of the luxuries of playing Symmetra, is that you can just teleport out of grav. So Icenom wants to grab this, should grab this if this was any character other than Symmetra. Because you could grab and you could just walk away and kill and buy yourself time, and then with your rally, you're good. The problem here is that he has to wait for the teleporter to be used. And then he decides, you know what, I'll grab them away from teleport, but it's too late. What should have been done here, chat? Rally, back up, hold space, or simply don't grab. Just don't grab. It's okay to lose this fight. That's one ult. That's two ults. You've only used your rally, your window, whatever, and you're fine. The longer this fight goes, the more time we'll give Kev and Shockwave and heck, even your BAP to eventually get something done. The problem here is that they force the rush. Fix this trolling, man. Like, I'm telling you, this is trolling. Like, this is really, really bad. I want to look back at first. I want to keep up this Fixa slander because I'm legitimately confused about how many times we were losing angles here. I think he just gets booped off the map here. Yeah, it just gets booped off the map, which is, you know, not great, but whatever. It really did, seriously. They could have just kept backing up to their spawn. Like, this isn't even complicated. You're playing versus Ram Lucy with Zara. You know what they're going to do. They've been doing that for years. This matchup has been, you've played this matchup in ranked 500 times. They're going to Vortex and run you down. Run away. This rotation is really good from Fixa. I think he goes top. He should go top. Yes. He just screws up. What should he do here, chat? What should Fixa do here? I mean, he really shouldn't drop. At least not immediately. Aster just destroys him. Aster just destroys him. Also, I will say this is a pretty insane shot from Quartz. Check this out, guys. That's pretty nuts. Now, I will say one additional thing on Fixa's, against Fixa, is Fixa should already have been rotating to this space here. He should already have been here in the first place. You see it? So the problem here is that Shockwave actually disengages the angle because he's not getting support, but Fixa should have already been here. Fixa should have already been here. This is the most basic fundamental thing here, especially into Ram. You're not stacking with your back. I don't know what he's doing here. He should be here. He needs to already be at least scouting out this angle. He's lucky that Quartz didn't just kill Shockwave right away and then murder him from this angle. I'm not impressed, bro. This is not good. This is basic stuff. And yes, he shouldn't bash quartz anyway. Correct. You should whip. This is poor. But that's not all. I want to know what happens with this rally. I don't really like this from... I mean, okay, I guess they wanted to take this fight slowly because... But the problem here is that we kind of have quartz uncontested on the high ground. So I don't know how I feel about this fight plan as a whole from them. So I'm not going to blame Fixa for this. But you can see the problem is like we want to kind of maintain space. We don't want to walk into beat. We don't want to walk into ramble. I get it. But this is the problem with not doing the split push that we just did last time is that quartz can take this position for free. Now, thankfully, Kevster does help us out here, but Kevster is completely unsupported, so you really can't stop them from doing this. This is what I'm confused about. It's actually really weird that quartz doesn't push the angle here. It's actually really strange. If I'm TM here, I think I just put Astro with, and I commit to clearing out Kevster. I think they would have lost, but whatever. Let's actually look at what happens here. It's a good whip. Grab is fine. Teleport's used. Nemesis form is used. Beat is used. We rally to catch, which is fine. He checks the backline. And then we go in for the commit on quartz, which is definitely a little bit egotistical. But then, okay, let me ask you guys a question. When you go for an aggressive play and you fail on the execution to secure the kill, what should be your number one priority right now? What should be your number one priority right now? Number one. Hold the space, back out, retake the angle, survive. Yes, you guys are all getting it right. It's all the same principle because you know that, okay, I'm inting right now, but if I can live, I will create space for us to win. And you can see it right here. Islam has a huge opportunity. All we have to do is live. So first problem here is we really shouldn't be going for the whip. We really should just be holding shield and saving whip to either hit the Cassidy or deny the Sam or do this and just run. Let me be very clear. Fixa is going to die here. But you should extend this death by at least 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Anytime you go for an aggressive angle push, you just need to live. Your team will capitalize off of it because we are doing so much. Islam's getting... Astro's freaking dead. We could force TV and T out to low HP. The problem is Fixa just freaking ends. He goes for the kill when he has no business getting the kill. This quartz is not 1 HP here. He's 2/3, best case scenario. And dies just instantly. Instantly. So the play was a little bit of hubris, okay? But I understand you're in the heat of moment. You want to make something happen. Okay, then that's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So I could argue, but maybe it's not the best play. But if you're going to make this play, you have to live. If you take an aggressive angle, the living on the angle is value enough. You don't need to get the kill. You have all the shield in the world. You had your whip if you played it correctly. You even had the bash speed boost. It's just foolishness. It's foolishness. And Fixa, and I don't know, man. Like, this is just really poor. Okay, I want to look back at first point defense. By the way, Sarah, thank you so much for these replay codes. This makes this so much more interesting to watch. I don't know where you get this. I would love to know. But this is amazing. Hey, Magister. It's criminal to die like with that with Rally. It's the second time in a row that Fix has done this, by the way. Just inting with Rally. First one was, yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. Face it page? Okay, good to know. So this is fine. This pincer's fine. We have some good punish on this rotation. I'm actually now just obsessed with looking at Fixa, but I will look at the global thing here. Good whip. Good catch of the engage. Good swings. Just don't die. What's the problem here, chat? What's the problem? What's the problem? Do you see it? Thank you, Sarah Lee. What's the problem? Basic fundamental of Brigitte. This is our angle here. You can whip the diva, but you cannot compress the angle. Look at the angle control here. As soon as we move to here, what are we now vulnerable to? You see it? Look what Quartz does. Immediately fill that space. We don't need to be closer to proc our Inspire. We can get a couple of swings here, but it's more important to deny this space for our own survivability than it is to walk into Diva's face. In addition, this isn't even safe for you here. One boop from Astro and you're done. This is terrible, man. I don't get it. Hit the whip here, dude. Hit the whip on Quartz and hold the lane. You already are proccing Inspire. Why are we doing this? So we have to bash out, which means we lose so much space, which means our BAP here has to dump all of this attention. I also don't get the shift. The shift hit our Brig here. It's okay. It was an okay shift. It does hit this. But yeah, look at all this attention here. And then Quartz takes that overcorrection as an opportunity to deepen his angle. So this was the moment right here where I'm like scratching my head going, how are we not pushing this back? And I think it's because we've lost so much space to that one flank. So let's watch it a little bit slower here. Ice Thumb is charged. Should be what, 80, 90 charge? 73, okay. Kev still has his lane, still has his angle. We're gonna go back and fix it here. Oh my gosh. Like, I understand. Okay, that's a good whip. Just hold the space. Don't open yourself up to so much damage like this. It's just so unearned. Like, wait, did we hit Lamp as well? Lamp is, okay, so Lamp was more of a global thing, but we really should have been able to punish this. So you see, Fixa keeps inting and then bashing out and then losing damage and then losing space. I'm going to look at Shockwave's POV as well because I feel like there was many opportunities to do damage and it might just be a... It's just really poor, man. The rotation to the right's good. Okay, it's just mechanics. Just there were no shots hit. No, like one relevant bolt was hit in like 30 seconds, which it happens. It's not a big deal, but that's our answer right there. We could also look, I'm sure, mechanically down the line at a little bit of Ice Nom stuff, and it's not, we're not gonna, but there's, you know, there wasn't enough punish on the angles. I think actually Shockwave's rotations were perfect. Starting here, then backing off to here, and then flipping across to the angle here. But I mean, Fixa is a huge liability with controlling space. Like just a huge liability. Huge liability. Not all his fault for sure. I mean, case in point, right? But like, yeah, this is a huge problem. You can't not hit a bolt here. Like you just have to hit one or two, you know, anything. I actually feel like Tracer presence was the only thing that was relevant here, but maybe you're right. Let's watch some Kev here as well. Let's find out if Tracer is okay here. The initial starting angle's fine. The damage is good. He's responsive. He assumes a lot of attention, doesn't get a lot of attention. It is a little passive. Like that initial rotation was a little bit hesitant, like right here. But I think he just didn't like the angle that Quartz had on him. It's too easy. And then here he doesn't really have good vision. So I think so far it's okay. And then once he has a blink, he walks back into the angle, hits some nice shots. That's going to be Lamp. And then he goes in the room. This is the one thing that I don't like from him. So this rotation here, he really, really needed to try to greed his recall to tuck in towards here. And then if they ignore him, then he can recall, and then he can hold the angle with the health pack. Because recalling back to this angle here, sorry, wrong person, is really kind of sucky. Holding that space and backline, like you have a charge Sem, but that's not going to burst you down. You'll be fine. But yeah, I actually think this is okay. There's not really a problem here. Let's look one more time at Ice Nom then. I say one more time at Ice Nom, but just we'll look at Ice Nom. Yeah, I think he could have greeted that corner with the mini and probably either held the pressure for longer or maybe just actually held the angle. I'm looking more at like mechanics and so on here. Obviously the positioning is fine. I will say maybe some of these early bubbles aren't great. Too much space given up. So right here, when he has bubble, once he's here, his attention needs to immediately migrate to back to here. That's like a huge problem here. So he's going back to deal with D.Va, but that's not really his responsibility. He doesn't even have a bubble here. He really just needs to hug this cover here, because by rotating back, you take more damage, right? You lose the corner, and then that damage downtime is what allows him to restabilize here, because he's not really doing damage for a few seconds. And that damage easily would have killed Simple, and probably Yubi as well. And then crucially, because we lost the corner, we have to kind of walk back towards the corner, which means we take more damage than we need to. We do catch the engage with a nice bubble, that's fine. I don't think there's like a huge mechanical problem here, at least obviously, but this peeling back was a huge missed opportunity, and you could also argue that initial bubble was kind of unnecessary and really dangerous into a team that's going to be using teleporter like this. So not like there's, like I said, there's a lot of little things that accumulated here. Shockwave didn't hit a shot. Kev could have held the angle for longer. Fixa trolled the lobby with controlling space as a whole. Ice Stomp peels back too hard instead of holding the space, and then kind of blows his first bubble a little bit. It's not bad. He did get some value out of that first bubble, but yeah. How can Twisted Minds just run over Ice? Well, they can't run over Ice, but they can force him, they can scare him enough to force a bunch of abilities early. Because the thing is, people underestimate how much damage D.Va can do up close versus Zarya. You can just break bubbles and kill her. Like your best matchup versus Zarya as D.Va is either to avoid her or decisively run her face in. It's just no in between. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm curious about first attack as well, because I felt like we had potential here. I think this is where Ice Nom bubbles Tracer, which was a choice. Yeah, so I don't think the bubble first off there is all that necessary. Like, Tracer just doesn't get much out of that. And then we really need for us to get from here to here, double bubble catch. Gala needs to stay here and pocket Zarya. And to be honest with you, I actually don't even know if I want Fixa moving with Ice Nom here. Maybe Shockwave can kind of pop up here. But I think Tracer here, Bap, Lucio actually together here. Maybe Lucio should probably go up through this way and then help through here. That's your safest rotation. But again, you just have to play Lucio to know that, you know? So it's a really sloppy rotation from Ice Nom. He's not moving corner to corner. He wastes a bubble on Tracer. He stands in the open, gets pincered, and then he's just getting smoked. Yeah, I think Shockwave Gala look okay, but Fixa probably needs to get in that room and control space, and then Ice Nom just wastes bubble and doesn't rotate properly. And this is the one I think where Fixa gets picked. All right, let's look at this setup here. I think they're not sure what to do. What is Shockwave doing? I'm surprised Shockwave isn't trying a little bit of this, but this is where you would have Shockwave from here and Fixa coming in from here and then Zarya walking. There's like, it just looks so indecisive, so scared, you know? I don't even completely blame Fixa for that. Like, it's the kind of the whole of this. They're just like, I don't even know. I don't know. Now, with all the negativity aside, let's look at the point that they cap, or the fight that they cap on. They bubble Tracer in again. Does he just do that to go in left? Yeah, so they use the bubble for Kevster to cheat his staging, which is a totally worth, because you probably do need bubble if you're going to run right through the middle of the enemy team to get to here. Okay, so this is fine. Brigitte pockets from here. There's the greedy push, greedy rotation. TM backs off. Now we've got our Freya on the angle. Disengage. They're going to run it down. Can Fixa live? Freya on the flank. I mean, it's not even like anything crazy. Do we even proc our Inspire? I think we do. No, we just live. That's it. We just lived. We just didn't die. And so then we have Bap, Brig, Tracer flank, and then Shockwave on the flank with a nice ultimate. And that's it. We got a surround. We got a surround that we wanted. And if Islam can just literally bubble only himself, we're fine. What does Islam do with his bubbles? Got a little bit of charge. I really don't like these fishing bubbles as much. You can tell that they're looking for that as a cue. I just think Islam does a good job of evading the damage. I'm just not always a fan of his first bubbles. But yeah, just it's what they didn't do in second point. Just don't die in that first rush, right? We'll catch it, we'll kill it, you know, and that's it. Yeah. They didn't die immediately. That was the thing. They ran away. And so it worked. Yeah, that's it. So they did the thing where they lived, right? And some of you guys are like, well, why is that? Is that what you do? Well, if you're playing versus a composition that is, you know, using their amp speed into you and using their boosters and using their teleport and using their ultimate, then yeah, the longer that you hold your angles, like you saw, the team had no map control in that push whatsoever. Tracer behind, Freya behind, Quartz didn't even have a flank. They just ran it down mid. And as long as it doesn't work, that doesn't work. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't work in 3 seconds. It doesn't work at all. So, let's see. What did they do on second point here? Did you guys have a fight that you guys wanted to look at here? Is there any fight that we wanted to look at? I think this is the one. Did they play this one well? Yeah, so Kev's top. Yeah, see, this looks really good. You got kind of Brigitte holding space around cart, allowing Islam to live. Kev is marking top angle. It's not like directly leading to kills. Kev marks the angle there, but this is pretty okay. Fix It just denies the engage. Like, this is kind of the space control that you want with these heroes, right? This is where the weakness of Lucio, where Lucio doesn't really exist on this map that well. Like, there's just everything's too far, but Brigitte does okay here. This is good. And so they actually end up clutching. Like, look at the difference with what Fix It is doing here. Now, you could argue here, I would probably prefer Fix It to do something sneaky with Kev up here. I actually would like that a lot better. Or Shockwave with your rally. I think that's way more consistent versus the Ram. 100%. However, look at this. Right. It works. Now, they lose to the angle because they're not marking that angle. But guess what? Rally is not... I have to get value now. I mean, that's good. That's good Brig gameplay right there. That's good Brig gameplay right there. He played that one well. He spaced it correctly. He managed his resources. He managed his space. He managed to force them into him. That's it right there. You know? And that was really well done. Where is that? You know, it's like, that's why it's so hard to coach this kind of stuff and review this stuff, because they're in the heat of the moment, like these kind of mistakes happen all the time. But it's not like Fix It doesn't know how to play Brig, you know? It's just Fix It looks like a complete dunce in these particular situations, and I don't know why. Oh, yeah. The pulse here? Or are you saying this pulse? I assume you mean the pulse here. This is the one where Shockwave just didn't rotate in time. Is this not the worst possible call on the Brig? I mean, Brig is... It's more of they pick Brig because of Diva. They pick Brig because Fix It can play Brig. And if you're really good with Brig on this map, you can make it work. Tomathan, I would agree with you if it wasn't Escort or Hybrid. I think Brig is fine here, and if it wasn't Fixa. This is just a bad rotation. He's got to go. He's got to know that he's cooked, and he's just too slow. And because by the time, like, this is UB, it's over at this point. But I think they still have the rotation here. Yeah, they have the rotation. They catch the engage. They have the angle. Kevster's marking the angle. Yubi gets a little bit too excited with it. Fix gets boofed off the map. Gala catches the engage, pops BAP window, maybe a little bit of hubris, but I think it's worth a shot because it's if he kills Quartz there, then that's huge, right? He just doesn't. Oh, Gala. Yeah, like, oh man, if he gets that kill there, he dies to Simple anyway, but that's actually a huge convenience there, and just a couple more shots before Simple gets it, maybe. No recall, that's crucial. Oh, he just didn't have enough to blink. It's a really good pulse. It's just an amazing symbol. I mean, I think overall this is just Shockwave shouldn't have died in the rotate. That's basically it. I'm sure we could delve more in detail and fix this shouldn't have got booped off the map, but that's, you know, it was a good attempt. Hey, Mert. Brig useless hero thing? I mean, maybe. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, the teleport being used to come back from spawn. Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's tough. This is like why Sim is so freaking strong. It's just kind of like, look at this. And we're immediately back in. And not only that, but... Right. So, we're just back. Well, any other fights that you guys want to look at in this point on this map?
Defend objective A.
Sim is pretty strong. Yubi's also really good at Sim. This will never not tilt me. This fight. That's just unreal. I know I'm a Kevster simp, but it kills me to see how much he does here. Didn't play perfectly, certainly, but just how much space is held. But yeah. I'm trying to think. What were the other rounds? It was Rialto. What was the first one? Oh, it was because we were yapping away on Samoa. The very last one in Team's attack? Right, so that was the one where somebody said that they shouldn't have been allowed to flip map. Let's look at that one. I do agree that with Ball, Tracer, Freya, you need to be punishing rotations really hard because you have hypermobile characters. I don't know if you can punish this one, though. I don't know if you can punish this one. No, yes, you can. This is just an experience. So here's what you can punish. You may not be able to punish this rotation, but you can absolutely re-rotate and set up a punish elsewhere. Like, Islam has already used his slam and then ends up costing his grapple, and then we don't have a punish on the rotation. Okay, so maybe this is the takeaway. They showcased their inexperience playing versus sim comps, thinking that they could punish this rotation. You just can't punish this rotation. You have to let them do the rotate through the room and then let them set up for something on point. You have to just let them take the rotate for free. You cannot stop them. And just have Islam kind of chilling here. And then Tracer honestly lurking around here. Honestly, even Tracer lurking in the castle. Like, you're just not going to get this rotational punish. It's just not possible. The only way to do it would be to literally have Freya here. And then like hard flanking them as they take here, like ridiculous, which you can do. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that like maybe that's too much of a tall ask, right? They just don't know how to play versus the sim with this stuff. Maybe they just don't have the reps. Because there's just no punish for this at all. You just teleport through. They've skipped their entire. Look at poor Kev, man. Triple blinking just to be able to do anything. And at this point, it's too late because they have noon. And now you don't even have a good... Like, Kev doesn't have a good angle set up because Kev has to stall point. He's getting pocketed. Shockwave gets his face blown off. I don't really love the angle from Shockwave, to be fair, but there's just not a whole lot here to say. So, they're fricked. They're cooked. It's over. So, Good play by TM, and they just didn't know. VP just didn't think about it. I don't think I've ever seen an Overwatch team in the history of professional Overwatch that gets as much value out of High Noon as Quartz does, and Twisted Minds as a team. Thank you, Sarah Lee. I have never seen a team get as consistent value out of High Noon with the amount of understanding and effort that they put into using the ult as Twisted Minds. And I don't think it's even close. I've coached multiple Cassidy metas in Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2, and I have never seen as much value. And it's not just through Symmetra as well. They find ways to make value out of it even without the Symmetra. They just know, he knows when to they plan around it to just to hold, like, even if this doesn't shoot Shockwave, this is such an unbelievably frustrating High Noon because this is the moment of TM's weakness. They just rotated in the open, right? And it's just unable to be leveraged. So even just buying time to steal point away is, even if it's just unbelievably valuable. There's not even a use of teleporter here. It's just zoning value. So it's great value. I want to look at Rialto. I want to look at like the ugly matches here. Unless there's something like really exciting in the other one, but I didn't get the vibe from Samoa. I want to see, the first thing I want to see is TM breaking the choke. I just thought that was beautiful.
Ready for 5.
So they pressure height. This is so good. They pressure height, then drop the point, and then retake height with both Diva and Lucio going for the boob. This is what VP never did. They never put any resources into controlling the space whatsoever. Never. And so now you can actually walk out of this choke and push something because that something is accessible, as well as the high ground being less useful. So check this out. Let's slow this down. 3, 2, 1, group up, speed boost out, swing Diva wide. Quartz marks the angle at the same time. Notice that Quartz is not even shooting Zarya. It's more important to not let Kev smash us in the back, right? So 1, 2, 3. Quartz kills Kevster. And so even though TM technically doesn't have map control, they're respecting the map control. You understand what I'm saying? They're looking at their angles while they're pushing on main. Because if you let Kev shoot, you can't do anything. He's going to murder you. It's just really good. So even when TM doesn't take off angles, they always respect the angles. Always. And then crucially, TVNT ignores Zarya to go fly at the other off angle while the rest of the team continues to pump resources on main. And Yubi uses his teleport just to live. It's just good Overwatch, man. It's just freaking good Overwatch. It's good map control. It's good respective map control, starting with booping off the Zarya and then marking the Tracer. It's just good. I'm not saying TM is the greatest team of all time, but man, this game was clean. This game was a bit of a mess from VP, but I mean, yeah, you can't. I have to respect quality Overwatch as well. Like, this isn't all negativity. This is just really well played by TM here. Yeah, and Shockwave does 0 damage in these punches as well. This is why I just don't know about the Freya versus the Diva, man. Like, it's so hard to take angles versus... I don't think there's an easy option, but this is why I was criticizing some of like the compositional choices, because it did feel at times like Freya's pretty good in this point, but it did feel at times like maybe they could have popped like the Freya, you know, here or here with, I don't know, like it just feels like if you're unable to peak with Freya, surely there has to be a better solution, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope it went well. So Kev on the angle, I mean, we're going to get used to seeing this. Kevs are kind of basically always by himself on the angle. Yubi always marking that angle. This is what we talked about, right? They are very attentive to the off angle, whatever off angle they're not controlling. Kev gets bubble, which again, I just really don't like Icenom doing that. I like Icenom needs to have double bubble for himself so you can just maximize his pressure output. Shockwave basically taking 0 space at all because it's very, very difficult to. You're very fragile. Again, we've never put any resources in controlling or pushing top. Even little things like this, like I don't want to put it all on Fixa. This isn't just going to be a beat Fixa over the head, but really what is Fixa doing here? You know, like, what's the purpose of your Lucio here? You guys tell me. Okay, Plat players, the Plat chat, okay? What could Lucio, why are we picking Lucio here? Why are we picking Lucio? What is the purpose of Lucio right now? Space control, right? So what space is Lucio controlling right now? So we either speed out of the choke to get space, right? Which is a choice. That's not a bad choice, right? TM did it very well. Or you go top and you fight here. Now you're like, oh, isn't that scary? Yeah, but that's using your character correctly. What the frick are we doing right now? What are we doing? Remember when Aster was in this exact same situation? What did Aster do? Sped around, went for a boop. Oh, but Diva will fly back. Okay, try it. Oh no, but there's 3 people here. Well then make them look at you. Bait, get aura value from here. Do something, control some space, anywhere, please. You're just as likely to die from TVNT and Quartz here. What are we doing, Fixa? Wake up! Like, we have no pride. Like, what is going? And because of that, this is what happens. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. What do you think? Imagine if Fixa went. What could Shockwave do with his angle if he actually had a support that did something? Imagine what Shockwave could do. We could maybe pop a couple shots here. Anything. Anything. He's so desperate. Anything to shoot, please. Like, and because we have such a freaking passive Lucio that leads to a passive Freya, we have 0 pressure on these guys anywhere. And this is why I feel like keep being a Kevster simp. Because to be fair, it's a lot more straightforward with Tracer, but he's the only one fighting for space at all. Consistently. And so, okay, Kev dies first. What a troll. It's just really poor map control. And the only times things work is when TM overextends in these rush pushes, which is exactly what happened here. Remember that happened on first point Eichenwalde as well. They basically create angles by overextending, which I don't think was a mistake from TM, but it's like the only time that VP is ever able to do something is when TM gives them angles by running it down. And it's just more of the same. You know, like you can look at Shockwave. He's really trying to figure this out. I'm so tired of bubbling Diva, man. I am so tired of bubbling Diva. But the problem is that TM out-tempos the engage because this is such a greedy flank from Shockwave. It's easily disengaged. This is such a... And dude, I'm going insane. And because Icenom continues to bubble Tracer, TM goes, oh, well, we can just run this guy down. We don't care about off angles because Kev is staging from main and only has 1 bubble to live. He doesn't even get a chance to use the bubble. And then they layer that with Kitsune Rush. So what ends up happening is TM gets away with cheating because they're either really poorly, super long setup angles from Shockwave, supports don't take any space, and or poor micro decisions from how we're using our resources. It's just bad, man. It's just really bad. And TM punishes it again and again and again and again and again. Any one of those things, whether a more proactive Lucio, like even Shockwave being here with Lucio pressure up top, a non-bubble on Tracer would have helped here. Well, that's the thing is like he's doing the classic thing which we talk about even when I'm coaching ranked players, which is you cannot do nothing in anticipation of something happening, because what will happen is that nothing will happen and then your team will lose to something. If you basically are waiting for your Kiriko to get dove instead of proactively controlling space, you're going to take a situation where Kev, Shockwave, or somebody else is unable to play the video game. And then eventually, maybe you'll lose to the same thing, sure. Or maybe you'll just die because Kevster has no help. You can't it's like being scared of going outside because you're going to pick up a disease and then you die of vitamin D deficiency. One thing is potentially this might happen. One thing is guaranteed going to happen. And a guaranteed lack of value is a very dangerous thing. And you can see it. Like, Fixa has done nothing damage or healing wise this entire match. There's been no pressure, and it's so hard for Shockwave. This is why I feel a little bit bad for Shockwave in this map, because it's not even bad to play Frey. It's fine. But he's having to do these ridiculous angle flips. Like, look at them. They're trying to hunt him because it's... Look at them. They actually try to catch him. That was actually really cute. TM is just so scary with this stuff, man. And now we actually have an engaged... See, we're actually, like, fighting now. Like, we're actually doing things. It's really only when TM does something a little silly that things don't end up working. It's really... Wait, why does he pulse the floor? Oh, he just misses, but it doesn't matter. What a weird beat as well. Bad communication, man. And the moment, I thought this was, like, forgivable because we'd layer beat on top of it, but they have to know that there's going to be a pulse here. This is just really bad. This is really becoming the hate Fixa stream. I'm telling you guys. Maybe all support players are boosted, dude. He's layering his beat, but the problem is that even without the pulse bomb, you still wouldn't use beat there. You'd wait a second. Why? Because there's no threat of an Ajax given the spacing of the enemy team. The only time there's an urgency to layer beat is if there's a threat of Ajax, which given the situation is not at all a threat. Look at where the enemy team is. There's zero threat of Ajax. Non-Korean main support? Well, I've got bad news for you, my friend. Fixa is Korean. You be living at 1 HP is crazy here. I don't hate this setup from VP now. They're kind of playing it nice and patiently. Seems okay. I would like way more pressure from Iceland, though. Just keep more damage. I don't like this whole W key thing, but we can just do more damage. Yeah, there you go. Somebody in chat was saying, freaking Chow was crashing out at his Zarya. Okay, what happens here? Alright, Spilo viewers in the chat, what's the mistake here? What's the mistake? What's the mistake? What's the mistake? What's the mistake? It's one of the fundamentals. Really basic. Where's the Lucio lane right now? Where is the Lucio lane right now? Where is the Lucio lane right now? Yes, B. Left. What do you not do? Cross lanes, especially into the open. Your job here is to hold this position, poke Tracer and or Mark Diva. You do not leave... Ow, I get hair in my eye. Leave your wall, leave your angle to go deal with a threat unless there's a really good reason to do so. Certainly not without amp. Now, I understand the concern here, but you cannot do this. You have to trust, because you being here does not make you better at doing your job, at least only marginally so. So as soon as Fixa crosses, now we're in the open. We've abandoned our rotation, left the wall, and used resources to do so. And now we're dead. Hold the lane and then respond. Hold the lane. Shoot the Tracer, hold it. You cannot do this. He's dead. As soon as he does this, he's dead. Just criminal. Like, this was actually pretty well played by VP, with the exception of Fixa. Gala holds the lane. Islam holds cart. They've kept consistent pressure. Shockwave on the angle. Kevster on the angle. They don't have support help, but that's okay because if Fixa lives here, then he's baiting all these resources on main, and then TVNT dies. I mean, Shockwave even gets a kill back here, I think. Or no, okay, he doesn't. But they get close, right? They could rebound this right now, speed boost in, and murder everybody. I'm confident that a bubble here on either of these DPS or whatever speed would win this.
I love that you have 2 cups of water.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, the game has started. But yeah, okay, we're gonna go back into the game here. But yeah, criminal. Another tossed fight from Fixa, man. You just have to trust your space and trust the value that you gain. You can't try to put out fires because when you try to chase and put out fires, you become the problem. Fixa becomes the vulnerability, not the other way around.